The fifth legislature of the Economic Community of West African States Parliament, ECOWAS Parliament, also called Community Parliament's five-day Joint Committee Delocalised meeting on political affairs, peace and security, and African peer review mechanism, legal affairs and human rights, social affairs, gender and women empowerment is underway in Banjul. The main objective of the meeting is to create an opportunity for the members of the Joint Committee to take greater ownership of the ECOWAS tax on peace and security, democracy and good governance, and to identify the best mechanism for oversight of their effective implementation. Speaking at the occasion, Dr. Mamadou Tangara, Minister of Foreign Affairs, calls on the member states to give full support to the domestication and the implementation of all legal instruments.
Member states must now give full support to the domestication and implementation of all legal instruments relative to the free movement of persons, goods, and services, as well as other protocols aimed at hinching the great people of ECOWAS closer to the ideals of political peace, social progress, and economic affluence. In the midst of unprecedented spiraling instability and insecurity and destabilizing factors, the domestication, harmonization, and implementation of regional texts must be the urgent task at hand.
He says the member states have a moral obligation and a collective responsibility to act swiftly to address all issues hampering institutional advancement.
Nations sharing the same destiny, we have a moral obligation and a collective responsibility to act swiftly to address all issues hampering the institutional advancement. The consolidation of peace, security, and the empowerment of women who are the driving forces of the region.
The Speaker of the Gambian Parliament, Fabakary Tombong says the challenges in the implementation and the oversight rules at the ECOWAS Parliament could not have come at a much better time than now.
The theme for this convergence, community texts on peace, security, good governance, challenges in their implementation and the oversight role of ECOWAS Parliament cannot have come at a much better time than now, when the values of democracy are being undermined in our republics. Violent extremism is threatening the very fabric of our societies, and rising cost of living is posing significant challenges in safeguarding peace in virtually all our member states.
Jada says without peace and security, the member states will not be able to implement effective economic policy and to enforce the rule of law.
Peace and security is the bedrock on which all development efforts are anchored. In fact, it's an adage that where there is no justice, don't expect peace. This is obvious because without peace and security, our member states will not be able to implement effective economic policies, enforce the rule of law, attract business investments, and deliver public infrastructure and services. However, to achieve peace and security require first and foremost justice.
Bintu Kamara, Deputy Speaker at the ECOWAS Parliament, says they are present in Banjul to deliberate on the challenges in the implementation and the oversight rules of the Parliament on community tax related to peace, security, democracy, and good governance. She says many democracies are currently having difficulties globally due to the lack of trust and accountability. Earlier in his remark, the majority leader of the Gambian Parliament and member of the ECOWAS Parliament, Billy G. Tunkara, expresses happiness that the ECOWAS Parliament has chosen the Gambia for the meeting.
I am delighted that the ECOWAS Parliament has chosen the Gambia for the meeting of the Joint Committee on Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Legal Affairs, Human Rights, Social Affairs, Gender and Women Empowerment, to critically examine the challenges that confront the implementation of community texts on conflict prevention. It is a well-known fact that the Gambia is a country that has earned the reputation of peace and security with the ECOWAS community.
He adds that they are aware that progress is being made in detecting and monitoring early signs of conflict enhanced by a local initiative that facilitates ownership.
We are, of course, aware that progress is being made in detecting and monitoring early signs of conflict. And this is enhanced by a local initiative to facilitate ownership. Conflict prevention mechanisms have been established which provide useful insight into potential crises.
The expected outcome of the deliberation of the meeting is for the Joint Committee to be informed with community tasks related to peace and security, democracy and good governance, and the major challenges in their implementation by the member states, particularly in terms of harmonization with national legislation and domestication. Reporting for Kerr, Fatou, I am Ramatulai Jao.